Now we are joined by the management of Asian Paints. Asian Paints that reported its quarter three numbers yesterday during market hours, and today it is trading with cuts. It's trading in the red. Now we are seeing some EPS target cuts that are coming in by the analysts post the quarter three results. But for now, Amit Syngle is joining us, who's the MD and CEO of Asian Paints. Hi, Mr. Syngle. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us on ET Now. Mr. Syngle, if you look at the quarter three results, the revenue saw a decline of 6% on a year-on-year basis. Tell us, by when do you expect a recovery in the revenues?
So overall, when you look at quarter three, we registered a volume growth of about 1.6% and overall value from a coatings point of view at about minus 6.6%. Overall, the customer sentiments were a bit muted in terms of quarter three, in terms of what we saw. However, the rural demand was much better. The urban centers were not kind of responding in this quarter too much to that extent, and we also saw a bit of down trading. As we go ahead, what we definitely anticipate is that given the fact that we've had good monsoons, we expect that the environment will be better there. The rural demand should further pick up to that extent. I think the urban centers will take some time from a point of view of consumption picking up to that extent. We see possibly industrial segments still doing well, and the B2B business also doing well overall to that extent. So what we expect is definitely, I think, going forward, quarter four should be better than quarter three, but we are cautiously optimistic about this quarter as we kind of move ahead.
All right, while operationally we have your set of numbers, Mr. Syngle, could you also tell us what's the outlook on volume growth, what that has looked like in the quarter gone by?
So what we are looking at is we are looking at a single-digit volume growth as we kind of go forward to that extent. As I said, the environment continues to be a little bit subdued from a point of view of consumption, and the consumer sentiments are low at the moment. So possibly we might see some surge in the rural demand, but overall we are expecting a single-digit volume growth from a point of view of quarter four going ahead.
Okay, but on that note, Mr. Syngle, could you help us with what the margin and volume guidance going forward could be like?
So this quarter, the margins have been good. We have had a PBDIT margin of about 20.7%, which is a sequential improvement over the margins which we have seen in quarter two. We expect that as we kind of go forward, we would kind of like to stick in our guidance of PBDIT margins of 18 to 20%, which we have given earlier, and we would like to definitely stick within that kind of a band.
Mr. Syngle, also do shed some light on the new launches in quarter three, and what are the expectations from the new products?
Overall, we are launching a spate of new products overall. One, we are launching a lot of products in the premium and the luxury segments to that extent. In the luxury segments, we are launching something which is called the Nilaya Once and Nilaya Play, which is a revolutionary coating, which is water-free, and it could be used to do a quick makeover of a home to that extent. So that's a new product which is coming on the anvil. We are also launching something which is called the Ultima Suprema Aero Clean. This is the first time possibly someone is seeing a photocatalytic paint which is coming, which cleans the environment of the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen dioxide in the air. So it's a really strong environment-friendly product in terms of what we are launching. And third product which we're launching is in the area of waterproofing, which is called the Smart Care Infinia. This is a product with almost 25 years warranty, which we are kind of bringing onto the anvil. And that is something which is quite an exciting launch in terms of what we are doing. So I think these are some of the products in terms of what we are kind of launching going ahead. And I'm sure that these will create a lot of excitement in the market.
Okay, Mr. Syngle, moving away from your earnings, talk to us about what the macros are looking like in the paint industry. A lot of competition has very recently intensified. Have you lost some market share in urban markets because of the new entrants in this segment?
So overall, the competitive intensity has been high in terms of what we have been seeing. So it is not only the newer competition, but it is also the existing competitors who are getting fairly aggressive and intense in terms of what we are seeing. Given the fact that the market is pretty large, what we are seeing is that a lot of players are getting affected from a point of view of some of the new players are coming. Some new players are doing well. Some new players are not doing well as well to that extent. So I think overall it is a mixed bag as we see it. At the lower end of the market, there has been definitely some shave off, which is there to that extent. But as we see it, I think it's an adjustment of the shares which is happening between a lot of players, and it is not only one player which can be kind of really singled out to that extent. So I think the competitive intensity is high, and I expect this intensity to remain high as we kind of go ahead.
Right, Mr. Singhal, another thing that has been weighing down the paints industry, that has been the demand. Now, the government has recently announced a budget for FY26, and now the government focuses is likely to be more on the consumption part. Now, with this, do you expect some recovery in the urban consumption?
Yes, definitely. I think it's been a very positive step in terms of looking at what the government has done. I think to the middle class, it kind of offers more avenues in terms of how would they kind of look at consuming. But we have to be cautious because paint is a category where the spends can always be deferred for a time to that extent, and we have to watch out in terms of what are the areas customer is looking at consuming to that extent. So I think we will have to wait and watch in terms of how consumption grows and in which categories consumption grows as we kind of go forward. But it's definitely a positive step since it kind of frees up definitely a lot of money in terms of where consumer can spend.
Okay, sir, and also when it comes to Akzo Nobel India, the India Ops, we hear that some of your peers have submitted a bid to buy a stake in Akzo's India business. Could you share with us if you have also submitted a similar bid to buy Akzo's India business? Can you share some more details about this bid if you have placed any?
So overall, we don't have any official confirmation in terms of who all have submitted the bid. It's something which is a business which has been there for, up for reckoning for some time to that extent. As of now, we are looking at in terms of the market movements and looking at this thing, we will possibly see in terms of whether we want to express interest in terms of looking at anything which we want to kind of really invest in this. As of now, we are waiting and watching.
Mr. Singhal, let's talk about something else that has also been weighing down the margins for paint companies, and that's the rise in the crude prices. Seeing the recent volatility in crude and weakness in the rupee, how do you see this? Because most of the RM for you are crude derivatives.
So overall, we have seen a little bit of a deflation in the quarter 3 to that extent, deflation of about 2% in terms of what we are seeing. The crude prices have been a little bit volatile in terms of there, and there has been some volatility in terms of the crude derivatives also in terms of what we are seeing. And the depreciating rupee is also not helping the cause. However, we see that there are other raw materials which have not really picked up to that extent, which is to some extent balancing this kind of an increase in terms of what we are seeing from the point of view of crude and rupee. So I think overall we'll have to wait and watch. We don't expect too much of an inflation which is going to happen in quarter 4 as we kind of go ahead, because there are some other raw materials which are definitely coming down. So they are balancing the increase which is happening from some of the areas of crude which are going up to that extent. So we will have to wait and watch in terms of how it happens, but we are not expecting a big inflation in the coming quarter.
Okay, that's at least sounding optimistic on the input cost front. Mr. Singhal, thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us at ET now about your quarter 3 earnings and the outlook going ahead across various fronts. But let's shift focus